going on, Jerome's? Trying to find just a little respite from the Voldemort drama. But Daniel Jeremiah, Grand Poobah of the mock draft, former NFL scout, former quarterback at Appalachian State. Woo! Go Mountaineers. He released his mock draft 3.0, and the Vikings did some stuff and some things. Now, this is what you're able to do when you check the boxes of needs in free agency and in trades. Doubling down on D-line with Hargrave and Allen. Doubling down on O-line with Kelly and Fries. Doubling down at corner, bringing in Rodgers, the other Rodgers, as well as Byron Murphy Jr. Doubling down on special teams, doubling down on running backs, everything. So, yeah, I mean, the Vikings should and could still partake from the defensive line in this very deep D-line class because Hargrave and Allen aren't very young. But the Vikings are set up to go BPA, which is something I love. So, DJ, mock draft 3.0. Ward, Kata, Shedeur Sanders up at the top. I actually love Abdul Carter going to the Browns. Him and Garrett, long time. Woo, come on, man. Travis Hunter, Jelon Walker. This is a lot higher than other people have Jelon Walker. Also, here's what's great about Daniel Jeremiah. So, obviously, he's very good at what he does, puts that work in. Plus, he still has connections in the scouting community, so he's got his ear to the ground of what the league is thinking. Now, big boards are what the evaluator sees. Mock drafts are what the evaluator is hearing, right? And a lot of people don't have Jelon Walker going that high, right? But now you're going to see, all of a sudden, in some other mock drafts, the Walker's creeping up. Because DJ said this. It's good. Genty at 6 to the Raiders. I guess it's a good spot because it keeps them away from the Bears. F them. Membu goes to the Jets. Mason Graham goes to the Panthers. Ooh. Hey, if Mason Graham goes to Carolina, does that mean that Derek Brown is available? Heidi Campbell goes to the Saints. Will Campbell goes to the Bears. The Bears actually make a good pick here. Campbell and Wright, I think, could be very competent tackle duo. Jahdae Barron goes to San Francisco. Again, there's a lot higher than people have Barron in most of the drafts. But overall, Jahdae Barron's going to be a dude. I love him. Pride of Texas. Matthew Golden is the first true receiver off the board because, Hunter went earlier. But Golden goes to the Cowboys over Tet, over LB3. So certainly interesting there. Malachi Starks goes to the Dolphins, replacing Holland. The Colts. So this might be too on the nose since Tyler Warren wears 44 and he's often comped to Dallas Clark. But he goes to the Colts. I mean, Daniel Jones gets himself a tight end. Will Johnson goes to the Falcons. I mean, him and Terrell, it's a damn good combo. Also, it would be super tempting if Will Johnson fell this far to make a move. I mean, Vikings don't really have the ammo to do it, but Will Johnson has a chance to be elite, absolutely elite. Gray Zabel going to the Cardinals. Again, that's a little bit higher than most people have him. Mike Green goes to the Bengals because they need cheap defensive help wherever they can get it. Loveland goes at 18. So the top two tight ends off the board, again, it's a little bit higher than a lot of people have him, but Loveland going to Seattle. Hey, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones actually get some tight end help. It's good to see, man. Donovan goes to the Bucks. Hampton goes to the Broncos. I kind of like how much, or I kind of hate how much I like that. Steelers go with Jackson Dart. I don't know. This feels like a forced pick. Like this feels sort of like Kenny Pickett. I don't know. Tet falls all the way to the Chargers, which is surprising. Just super surprising. But Chargers get some wide receiver help, which is sorely needed. Harrison goes to the Packers because they need to overhaul their secondary. Vikings get Nick Emmanwori, hard-hitting, 6'3" Bob Sanders from the University of South Carolina. I love it. I think it's a great pick. With Harrison Smith entering year 14, the Vikings go get a young safety with the ability to impact the game in a variety of ways. And Emmanwori is just a dude, man. He absolutely does get after things. 4 picks last year. Also tested pretty good. He's a physical freak of nature. Like, he is a freight train. The Cam Chancellor with souped-up athleticism comps are certainly there. Perfect 10 out of 10 RAS. His draft profile, Lance Zierlein. NFL comp, Jeremy Chin. I think he's obviously a pretty souped-up Jeremy Chin. Although Jeremy Chin was a physical freak coming out of Southern Illinois a couple years ago. Overview. The assessment of Emmanwori's tape could depend on which games you watch. He's a physical specimen with rare size and outstanding speed, but he doesn't always play with the first-to-action mentality and run support. That'll get fixed. When he gets it cranked up, he becomes a much more efficient tackler and overall run stopper from sideline to sideline. He's capable of playing over the top, inside the box. He's the man in the box, or even matching up with pass-catching tight ends. He's upright and average transition fluidity and coverage, but he has great recovery speed and uses his length to throw a blanket over the catch point. He has NFL traits and talent, so a boost in urgency could take him from a good starter to a great one. No problem. No problem, man. Also, the Vikings secondary as a right meow. You look in the safety room, so they brought back Theo Jackson ostensibly to help take the sting out of losing Cam Beasley. Also, Harrison Smith is back on a reworked deal, and also brought in Bubba Bolden. So I think that Emmanwori comes in day one and is a high-level contributor, if not a starter. I think that would just be really, really good. I kind of love that. Also, the rest of the first round, Calvin Banks goes to the Texans, which just works out perfectly for them because they punted on Tunsil. Banks that can just slot in a left tackle for the next decade, and he's going to be good to go. Stays in state 2, hook him, baby. Trey Amos, not many mocks have Amos in the first round, but he goes to the Rams. It makes sense. Derek Hammond goes to the Ravens, which just, again, we say this a lot, but every single draft, the frickin' Ravens and Eric DeCosta just sit at the back end of the first round or trade out of the first round, and then they just get a fantastic front seven player over and over and over and over again, just like the Eagles, man. Michael Williams goes to Lions. I think he's a nice pairing with Hutchinson. Ezra Thomas. So a lot of folks don't have him as a first-round pick, but he gets in there with the commies, takes some of the sting out of losing Forbes. Well, Forbes not working out as well as Lattimore clearly not working out. Kenneth Grant goes to Buffalo. This is good. This is really, really good. So Kenneth Grant and that Bills defensive line should be good to go. Josh Simmons, they've always needed help at tackle. They did try to shove their chips in with Jalen Moore. They'll be good. And then, again, the frickin' Eagles, just like the frickin' Ravens, just sit back there and just like all smug and stuff. And then a great front seven player, just like although Shamar Stewart never played for Georgia, so maybe it's an invalid pick. I don't really know. But who's left on the board? So a lot of names that generally have gone early on are off of DJ's mock draft 3.0. Now, DJ's pretty well connected, so take a little bit to heart. So Nolan falls out of the first round. Pierce, I feel like Pierce is going to be polarized, but of course all it takes is one team. LB3 falls out. Egbuka falls out. Both of them not in the first round. Darius Alexander had been getting some first round hype. No, Williams went. I guess I missed one. Connerly, no go. Tyleek, etc. So what's interesting is that there's a couple of names in DJ's mock that generally you don't see going in the first round. But of course, it's been talked about that the talent level in this draft is pretty flat after the top 10 picks. So I think that there's going to be a gaggle of guys that go from either the mid first round all the way through the top of the third round and just sort of shuffle. Like styles make fights, and teams like who they like, and it just kind of go from there. So it's going to be a really interesting day 2, and hopefully the Vikings can actually get some more day 2 draft capital, but we'll see. But either way, if Vikings stick and pick at 24 and get Emmanwori, all in. He's perfect enforcer, attitude on the back end of this Flores defense, and just be a lot of fun, man. Absolutely. But your thoughts are thoughts. Daniel Jeremiah, mock draft 3.0. Vikings get Nick Emmanwori, the pride of South Carolina. Woo! Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.